Om Bhadram Karnevihi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashe Makshaviryajatraha Sthirairangai Tushtuvaga Swastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti na Starsho Arishtanebihi Swasti no Bruhaspatir Dadatu Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. In the last class, we have completed Prashna 1. First question we have completed. And that question was from somebody called Katyayani Kabandha. What we have seen is Katyayani Kabandha has asked that question as to where all these creatures have come from. So the name itself we have seen, Kabandha means one who is attached, one who is entangled with the world is Bandha. Bandha is entanglement, who is entangled with this world. So each and every name of the student has also got some significance related to the question that they have asked. That's what we have seen actually in this. That Katyayani means it is one whose great-grandfather is still alive. Means he's seeing around him a large family of people, and there are so many births taking place, deaths taking place, and he is assuming, obviously, with that mindset, that the physical body that is getting born is the jiva. So that was the question that that particular student has asked as to where these creatures are coming from. He would like to know what is the cause. It is always coming back to the cause and effect. Karya Karana Visesha analysis that is done. Normally in such case where you are still at a level of the body, normally it is what is the cause for this whole prapancha. If I am hearing that there are some devas, there are some other beings around whom they are all done their karma kanda. So they know they are giving ahuti to Indra, Varuna, etc., etc. So there are some other beings also that are there. So the question is coming as to where from these beings are coming. He is thinking every time a new thing, new jiva is getting born. So what is the cause for the entire thing? Now, Rishi's vision is very clear in terms of what the nature of this entire world and what is the nature of the self. Here, that nature of the self was explained in question 1 as an answer in a very beautiful way by Rishi Pippalada. What he started was to tell that first he has to take out this individual concept to the samashti level, to the totality level. So he started with telling that particular Prajapati, so the same Brahman, when he has the desire to create, desire to expand, desire to manifest, that particular Brahman will become somebody called Prajapati. Same person, but name is given because he has got a different role to play. For example, a woman is there, so the woman remains same, but when it comes to a child, becomes a mother. When it comes to a spouse, becomes a wife. So a name is given depending upon the relationship with what they are getting attached to. So here, the same Brahman is given a name of Prajapati, because extraordinary born means there are many things that divisions that we are seeing, the entire thing is getting born, Praja. So Prajapati. So he is the pati of all the Praja, so to say. So where from all these Prajas are coming was the question that came. So he says this Prajapati is the one, and he created not so many individual things. He says there is one prana and rai. So a matter, and that we can easily experience. Any person at every level will know that what are you, and with a little bit of analysis, I can say, yeah, there is a physical aspect to me, but there is also a subtle aspect to me. Very, very clear to everybody. So he says one prana and one rai. These are the two things is created, and the entire thing came out of this. And then question may come, okay, so prana is he created. So my prana is different from Abhimanyuji's prana. My prana is different from all your prana. That might come. So to raise the level to a higher level, the concept, he says that somebody called Vaishwanara is the one. And who is this Vaishwanara? Sun and moon. So prana becomes the sun, Rai becomes the moon, so matter. So everything is related to sun and moon. And when we talk about you specifically as an individual, as a I-ness, it is Vaishwanara. So don't think that your prana is different from your prana. Everybody's prana is this Vaishwanara. So at a very high level, he has put that across. And then to say that the entire Samvatsara, time aspect also, don't think time is different. Same Prajapati manifests as the time. Why time becomes important? Because Kala is and seasons, they are linked to this time. How the seasons are coming? Because of the sun and the moon and the aspects that are associated with that, and the earth, of course. And these three somehow makes the entire world go round, in a sense that the rains that come is because of these three. So who are these three? Again, sun, moon, earth, everything, Kala, and is nothing but Prajapati. So he's telling everything is Prajapati. So he's not diverting from that Ekatvam. He's only telling, because the question has come from a person who is thinking body is me, Annamaya Kosha is me. So he is to now take out this concept of Annamaya Kosha is not you, to that particular Brahman is you. So he's saying that Prajapati himself has become sun. He didn't say create. He is manifested himself as the sun, manifested himself as the moon, manifested himself as the earth, and with a movement that has current, the time is able to, you are able to measure. Didn't say time is created because of this, but you are able to measure time in terms of samvatsara, in terms of day, in terms of month. So samvatsara because of the sun, month because of the moon, day and night because of earth. So that is the overall concept he has brought in. And he says there are two aspects to each of this. So in Samvatsara, there is a Dakshinayana, Uttarayana. In a month, there is a Krishna Paksha, Sukla Paksha. In a day, there is a day and night. So, and you can link this to Prana and Rai. So he's not leaving that alone. He says, this is linked to Prana, this is linked to Rai. What is Prana? Prana means knowledge. Rai means avidya, associated with that. Why he is telling all this? Because if it is knowledge associated with some certain aspects, every one of us have got two paths we can take. One path is path of knowledge, and other path is path of karma. And path of karma, how you should do if you want, follow Vedas. Vedas also say that you do yajna, yaga, etc., which is called ishtam. But if you are not exposed to that, at least do good activities, social service, purtam. So whoever is doing this ishtam purtam, they go to Chandraloka and they come back and take birth again. So he's answering the question, who is taking birth to start with? But if you follow Jnana Marga of path of Surya or Uttarayana or Sukla Paksha or day, any one of them you can take. All this, you will have to do tapas, brahmacharya, shraddha, vidya. And you will have to do this with the Brahman as your focal point. Brahmacharya. And that particular thing, whoever is doing, will go to Surya Loka. For them, it is a path of no return. So those people will not take birth. So at that level, he is telling that people have got an option to take a path of tapas, brahmacharya, shraddha, vidya. Those people will not be born. But those people who are taking it, despite Veda, karma kanda they are doing, which is Vedic response, those people will come back. Means what? Those people who don't even do Veda, suppose they are just born and they are into the samsara without bothering about Ishtam and Purtam, anyway they will come back. But it's not necessary they will come back in the Manushya Janma. They may take any birth. Depending upon their own response, they may take any birth. But those who do Ishtam and Purtam, they will come back and take a Manushya Janma. That is how this one is telling. And he's again going back and telling that although this one we are talking about, it is annam. Annam means the food. Annam means food, you can say. In a typical way, he says annam, but really speaking, annam is any sense object. So sound becomes food for the ear. Smell becomes food for the nose. Like that. All sense objects which are there, whoever is going through this annam aspect of it, they will anyway take birth and come back. For them, there is no this means. For them, there is a rebirth. Whoever is going through, if you are into the outward activity in terms of only living with sense objects as you are this one, you will also come back. So these are the people who are taking birth. So, and also he is telling that they go to Chandraloka, come back, they go to Suryaloka, don't come back, means he is already a concept of Punarjanma is also indicated. In the sense that there is Punarjanma, so a new Jiva is not created every time a Jiva takes birth. It is the old Jiva who will again come back into this particular world. So all these concepts are put across in terms of what is the answer, how these creatures are getting created. Okay. Any doubts on this? Any questions you have? Okay.
I'm glad you explained Jiva, because when you think of, when we layman thinking about it, we say we're going to come back. We're thinking of ourselves, but Jiva is so different from what we have here. That's what.
Correct. Yeah. And he used specifically in this chapter, they have used the word of Vaishvanara. Vishwanara. Vishwa is, the gross awakened aspect of our existence. We call it as Vishwa. In the subtle existence, it is called Taijasa. And at a causal level, the same thing is called Prajna. I hope you all remember that those three words. Vishwa, Taijasa, and Prajna. At an individual level. So our existence normally has got these three levels of existence. So when we are normally, Taijasa is linked to your dream state. So when you are dreaming, it is Taijasa aspect. Your mind is projecting the world to you. Whereas the Vishwa is when everything is available to you, all the 10 aspects of Indriyas are available to you for existence, and that we call it as Vishwa. Vishwa is we. So he is Vaishwanara. So for you, your Vishwa, who you are thinking individually, Vishwa is you, but he is telling that Vaishwanara is you. So you in you and you in you, they are all one and the same. So he is now raising our level of thinking in terms of telling that what you think as the birth of a Jiva really is not a birth. It is just usage by this Vaishwanara, and then you entire in terms of Taijasa, in terms of Prajna, in terms of Vishwa, becomes only an instrument of that Vaishwanara, and you are really experiencing his aspect of experience. And you are thinking that I am I. So I feeling is coming into picture. There are other aspects to this, but I don't want to go too much into the details. Have you ever heard about Samashti Sukshma Sharira, Upahita Chaitanyam, etc.? No? We will not go into.
Individually, the word Shariram is usually we know it as a phrase.
Samashti Sukshma Sharira, Upahita Chaitanyam.
Can you close that outside door, please?
Yeah, Shariram is body, but not necessarily only one body. As I'm telling you, it's a subtle body is there in terms of Vaishvanara, causal body in terms of Prajna. Everything is a body. Really speaking, when you take, for example, when you are dreaming about something, when the dream aspect coming into picture, you are there in the dream. Yeah, you are there in the dream either as an actor or as an observer, minimum. Even if suppose I am not there in my dream, but I am the observer in that dream. It is all with respect to me only, it is being projected, the entire dream associated with that. And when that I-ness comes into the picture, that I-ness will also have a body if you are part of the dream, not as observer, but if you are taking, there is a body associated. It may that particular body sometimes has got extraordinary powers compared to what my physical body is. So that is not the same body. For example, in my dreams, I will be flying. I can jump off the cliff and nothing will happen to me. I land without even wings. So that body's capacity is different. So the body is there even in your this one. So that also is Sharira. So Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira. So here, when we talk about Samashti Sukshma Sharira Upahita Chaitanyam, its idea is similar to that. But that particular Vaishvanara will appear as a individual Vishwa for you during the existence, during the waking state. But there is a Upahita, means there is a associated aspects that are linked to that Chaitanyam. Example, when space is one and you bring in a pot associated, there is a pot space associated. And we say this is pot space. And this pot space is 1 liter. This pot space is 3 liters. This is 5 liters. We can say that. Yeah. So there is a utility associated with this space. So there is a upahita. There is a pot which is defining this particular space. Really speaking, there is no difference between this space and the space outside. Similarly, Vaishvanara is there everywhere, but because of the upahita of your body and mind, it appears limited. And that particular limitation will then define that particular space associated, or consciousness associated. That Vaishvanara now is defined by this upahita. So the same upahitam will become you in your daily existence. That is the concept which he has brought in here at a very subtle level. Yeah. Why I use this word Vyashti, Sukshma Sharira, etc., etc. These are the terms you might come across when you start reading Vivek Chudamani or slightly higher Prakarana Granthas. If you start reading Naishkamya Siddhi, any of that, you will have these terms coming up. Yeah? But not necessary to learn at this stage. When you learn the text automatically, hopefully there will be some response they will given to you. Yeah. So we will leave it at that particular. So we will go with chapter 2 now. Yeah. So chapter 2, chapter 2 onwards, we call that as Hiranya Garbha Stuti. Stuti will start. Hiranya Garbha Stuti. What is Hiranya Garbha? Why I suddenly started with a new term? Same Prajapati is also called Brahma, or is also called Hiranyagarbha. So Hiranyagarbha means the Chaturmukha Brahma. We are talking about that four-footed Brahma who is sitting somewhere on a lotus flower, middle of the Milky Ocean, and he is actually reading and he is actually creating this entire world. Is how we normally come across in terms of our this one. So this Hiranyagarbha is nothing but prana. We have seen that Hiranyagarbha himself has come out as prana and rai, as we said. And this prana somehow is slightly placed at a higher level compared to rai. That is what the first question answer has been established. So now he is telling that same Hiranyagarbha who manifested as prana, means the prana himself, that prana now will be in terms of prana. So that particular prana will be now stuti. Stuti means praising. Will start in chapter 2. Yeah, that is what normally we are seeing here. Okay. Atahainam Bhargavo Vaidarbhihi Prapacha Bhagavan Katyeva Devaha Prajam Vidharayante Katara Etat Prakashayante Kaha Punaresham Varishta iti. So Atahaina. Then him, who is that him? Second student has asked the question. That is what? Second student. Now that is over. Now remember that all of these students, although one person is asking, one student is asking and Guru is replying, all 7 are sitting. That is the vision that we are seeing. How do we know that it's not one-to-one only? Because these questions seems to be linked to each other. It appears that the second guy is picking up something from what he has left. Now he has already said that prana is there, rai is there, and the whole thing has come about. And prana somehow appears to be slightly at a higher pedestal compared to rai. Although everything can be defined as rai, that also he told, everything can be chandrama. Yeah, and he said, even which is formless is also prana, can also be rai. So there, Guruji has explained in the sense of that, see, the entire world itself, when you talk about, physically I'm experiencing this world in my waking state. But really speaking, the entire world I'm not experiencing outside. Everything you are experiencing is experiencing inside. So when I see a laptop here in front of me, I'm not really seeing laptop here. I'm seeing it in my mind. So there is a light associated, there is a prana associated with that, there is a deva associated with that. And my eye, body has got a golakam, which is called an eye. And there is a mind associated behind. And when that consciousness comes and envelops this particular laptop, somehow it is being carried across into my mind. In my mind, same laptop is getting a form. It is formless in my mind. There is a form associated here, but that particular formless thing in my mind is what I am experiencing. So the entire world of forms, what I am telling, is actually a formless thing, what I am experiencing. From my experience point of view, whole world is formless. Even the forms that are there are formless. So my experience is limited to my mind. If mind is closed, world is closed. So the entire thing can be looked at as a form, or it can be looked at as a formless. So when I say that how it is formless or form, when everything is form, when I'm telling my thought is a form, my entire experience of the world at whatever level is only in the form of a thought. And once I say that thought is a form, entire world is form. So it's up to you how you take that. It can be form, you can say everything is form, or you can say everything is formless. Everything can be prana, everything can be rai. It's up to you, because ultimately they are going to negate everything. The whole idea is everything is mithya. You yourself is mithya, so-called you, as long as you are associated with these upahitams, everything is mithya. That we will come in the 7th question or 6th question when he answers that. Yeah, but ultimately right now they're telling Atahainam Bhargavo Vaidarbhi Prapachya. So the second student, what is his name? Bhargava Vaidarbhi. Yeah. So what is this Bhargava? So, Bhargava term we normally hear, but this in this particular case, Bhargava Vaidarbhi Prapachya. So this Bhargava is nothing but Bhrugu Gotra. One who is belonging to Bhrugu Gotra becomes Bhargava. And where is he coming from? He is coming from Vidarbha Desha. So Vidarbha is an area around Nagpur now, is Vidarbha, what we call that area. And that particular area he has come from, so he becomes a Vaidarbhi. So Bhargava Vaidarbhi, so somebody from Vidarbha Desha, and his Gotra, his lineage is Bhrugu Gotra, so he has become Bhargava Vaidarbhi. So real name is not given. Only his lineage is given and area from where he has come has given here. So that is what the Bhargava Vaidarbhi. Now this Bhargava, the Bhrugu Gotra, when we talk about, there are some aspects to this Bhrugu. Even Bhrugu Maharshi is there. One who is taken birth directly from Brahma is called Bhrugu Maharshi. And it is said that they come from the skin of Brahma. He got generated out of skin of Brahma. Anyway, doesn't matter. So they are at a very high level in terms of their upasana. They are known for that particular lineage of Bhrugu Gotra. They are known to be many rishis who know the upasana aspect. Upasana is looking at something higher than what is normally experienced. That becomes a upasana. So, for example, sun becomes a upasana for us. How? Because sun is the one who is actually, because of the sun, the entire jivas are getting created here. The entire energy in the world is because of the sun. And science also agrees to that. Yeah, the entire energy aspects that are whatever is there is because of the sun aspect which is going around. And this sun is one who is actually responsible for the entire energy and the jivas associated. So what I do, I link that particular concept of sun to the concept of Brahma. To say that Brahma creates everything, but physically I'm seeing it is because of the sun that I am seeing that the entire creatures are getting created. So I equate sun to the Brahma. So I do upasana on the sun. So early morning, there is Sandhya Vandana. We go to a river, we take the oblations, we do all that. And I cannot reach sun, so I offer oblations to the sun from here. And I say, because of you, this entire thing is coming. So I am also associated with sun like anybody else. And hence I am also sun. If somebody can think about like that, if my son is there, he may say that I am because of my father and mother, so I am my father and mother. So I leave the individuality and I go to connect myself to the universality. So that is what upasana is all about. So here, the Bhrigu Gotrikas are known for that many of those upasana paddhati. So here we will be seeing upasana. How we will see? We will come to know through the other verses when they come. Second is when he is told that he is from Vidarbha. Now Darbha is Darbha grass is there. It's a long grass, around 12 inches or more grass will be there. And this yajna and all, when they do yagas and yajnas, Darbha grass is actually used for offering ghee, and also you offer Darbha into the fire as well. So Darbha is associated with the yajnas and yagas and karma kand. So mean to say what? He is that particular student who has come, it appears, is well versed in all this yajna yaga that they are doing. Darbha is, as I told, grass. Vidarbha is, we can be used as to negate something. We can be used to multiply something. So here Vidarbha means he is knowing many, many aspects of yajna yaga, etc. And that particular person who is asking is known to know the upasanas, indicative only. Yeah. And I mentioned in the last class also, if you see the first verse, the names of the students is given. He starts with Sukeshata, Bharadwajaha, etc. And he ends with Kabandhik Atyayana. And the second last name is Bhargava Vedarbi. So in the list that is given in the first verse, we are actually going in the reverse order in terms of the students asking the questions. So Bhargava Vedarbi is the second student, but there is the second last student who has been mentioned there. So this Vidarbha means that particular person who is known for their upasana aspects, and also who is well versed with all the Vedic rituals. So such a person is asking this question. Idea is what? Whenever you are doing yaga, yajna, etc., your vision is no longer limited to an individual me. Always I am thinking there is somebody who is a higher power, and I offer that. So some of the yagas, Indra is the most known person who will receive this yajna yagas, this one, normally ahuti, whatever we give. But you can have Varuna, you can have other gods whom you can offer this yajna's results to be given to them, so that he will take care of everybody. And when I do this yaga and yajna, sometimes it is very, very personal, very selfish. So if somebody does a putra kameshti yajna, for example, means I want a son, and because I want a son, I will do this Putra Kameshti. Dasharatha has done for Rama, for example. So Putra Kameshti can be very selfish. But if I do it for general good, that also the yagas are there. So, but everything I am now having, whatever is, whether it is selfish goal or whether it is a social goal. For example, some of them can be if the rains are not coming. Then you do, there is a specific yaga and there is a place where you will say that let the rains come so that there will, everybody will get food associated with. I will also get, but that rain cannot be only on my field. It will be for everybody. So I do conduct for a general good as well. So that way also we can do. But whether it is selfish or whether it is social, always there is a associated person who is above it. So there is a deva to whom I am offering these oblations. So I am accepting there is something who is above me, who is above all people whom I am seeing around, whom I cannot see, but who controls the entire. So the concept of deva is there. Once deva is there, upasana already started. Upasana can be puja also. Puja is also one part of the upasana. Need not do every time a ritualistic puja, but that also is upasana, really speaking. So there is concept of a higher entity is introduced here, and that's why that Bhargava Vaidarbhi has come into picture, and he is asking a question. Bhagavan is addressing Pipalada, Rishi Pipalada. So for a student who has gone to a Rishi for knowledge, he becomes Bhagavan. The Guru becomes the Bhagavan. That obvious for all of us. I don't think we require any explanation for that. Yeah. So he becomes Bhagavan. He becomes father. So he's addressed in many ways in terms of this one because they are taking care in terms of, oh Bhagavan, oh Holy Sir, Kati Eva. Verily, how many devas, how many such gods are prajam? Prajam means creatures. Vidharayante, support, maintain. Since he is asking, he's got a question now. You told that this entire praja, what has been come out, has come out because of prana and rai. And there are many aspects that are there when it comes to me existing as this prana rai. You told there is a prana, there is a Vaishvanara. So, and also I, with my experience in my karma kanda, know I am making offering to Indra, Varuna, this, that, so many I am offering. But I don't know whether that is the exhaustive list of every deva that is there. So he is asking as to who are these devas, who are these energy centers, who are supporting the creatures. You said these people are there, prana is there, rai is there, but tell me as to which gods, how many such gods are there who are supporting the body, supporting the prana, supporting this rai. How many are there? He is asking that question. Support. Vidharayante means supporting. Maintain. Katare. Support or maintain is vidharayante. Katare, which of them? Yetat prakashayante. Who are these devas who are enlightened beings? Means enlightened means not similarly light, but which are these consciousness entities which are providing the consciousness to my being associated with that. Vidharayante, prakashayante. Punaha. And again, yesham, so of these, varishta, who is the greatest of all these aspects that are supporting. Among these devas, who is the greatest of them? Varishtayante. Iti, thus. So now you tell me, oh Bhargava, then question, Master, oh Bhagavan, how many factors, how many devas support the living beings? These creatures, how many devas are supporting? Which of them enlighten this? Means there may be some which are supporting, but may not necessarily providing the consciousness associated with that. Again, who among them is the greatest? That is the question which the Bhargava Vaidarbhi is asking. Yeah. So the idea, entire thing is that if I seem to be having different instruments. Yeah. So I have eyes, I have ears, I have this. Now you already told that all of these are nothing but sense objects coming and giving kind of ahuti into my senses, indriyas associated with that. But my experience is my eyes have got a different function. Eyes cannot hear. If my eyes are closed, I cannot see. Despite my ears are open, my mouth, I can keep it open. Nose anyway is open, but I can't see. Smell, similarly linked to only one particular this one. There appears to be a division in terms of all this. So consciousness is there. Prana is there. But prana is appear to be divided in terms of all these senses that are there. And how is that? Which of them is the greatest? Which is the prana? Which is the deva? Who is enlightening? So who is the deva responsible for my smell? Who is the deva associated with my hearing? So that is the question that has come up. Why it has come? Because he is Bhargavo Vaidarbhi. He is used to that. He is used to one specific aspect is there. I do, okay, you do Putra Kameshtiya. You do this yaga, you do this yajna. That's what Vedas are telling me, that there are different devas. Who in that is directly linked to my being as a being? Who is supporting me? And who among them is the Varishta, first, best? Okay. So when such a distinct nature is there in terms of my understanding and knowing this world, which is the Deva who is supporting all of them? Who is the best among them? Because sometimes we hear, that eyesight is the best among them, all the senses. You may think, oh, if eyesight is there, then it's sufficient. If I don't have hearing, I don't have taste, I don't have smell, is it okay? No, not like that, but Nayanam Pradhanam. What they say is Nayanam Pradhanam. So eyesight is the very first one in terms of their stature. If I don't hear also okay, but if I can't see, my life is much more difficult for me. So eye is the best in terms of that. Any such thing is there. He's asking that when distinction is there, which prana is supporting, who is the deva is supporting it, and who is actually providing that illumination. Illumination, not necessarily light, as I mentioned. It is more in terms of sentiency. So who is providing sentiency at different levels? That is how the question is being asked. So upasana will be introduced now. Next, this one. Tasmai sahovacha. Akasha hova. Esha devo. Vayuragni. Apaha. Prithvi. Vang manaschakshuhu. Shotram cha. Te prakashya. Abhivadanti. Vayametad. Parnam. Avrishtabhyam. Vidharayamaha. So, Tasmai Sahovacha. To that particular student, the Pippalada Maharshi is answering. Sahovacha, Uvacha is answering back, replying back, talking about. Yeah. So that Pippalada, he started talking. Uvacha, he started talking. What he said, Akasha, Akasha, the sky, the space aspect is called Akasha. Yeah? Akasha vai, indeed, Yeshaha, that Deva, God. So he's telling that Akasha is the God. He now left everything in terms of Indra, Varuna, all known stuff is now taken out. He's telling that Akasha is the God, Devaha. Vayu. So not only Akasha, Vayu. Vayu is air associated. Yeah. Agnihi, fire. Apaha, water. And Prithvi. Prithvi, earth. So the 5 elements is brought into picture, and they are telling these are the gods. Verily the God, Akasha, Vayuhu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. These 5 are the gods associated with that particular this one. And Vak, Manaha, Chakshuhu, Stotra. Vak is the speech. Speech is called Vak. Manaha, mind. Chakshuhu, eye. Stotram is the ear. And Cha, Prakashya, having manifested their power. So these are the gods And what they are enlightening or what they are giving sentiency to, they are giving sentiency to Vak, Manaha, Chakshuhu, and Stotra. So generally, okay, Prakash having manifested, Abhivadanti, they emphasize, Vayam, what they said, that Ether, this Banam is actually body. Body is called Banam. Yeah? Banam means not arrow. Banam means actually the body here that we are talking about. Actually, the literal meaning is perishable. Banam is perishable. So Banam can be this one in terms of once you release it, it is gone. So that becomes Banam also, the body. But the body associated is called, Banam is called body here. Avashtabhyamaha, having held together, Vidharayamaha, support. So here, the answer is not being given directly by Rishi. Now he is telling a story. A story is getting introduced by Rishi Pippalada. He says that there is a person associated with that, and in that person, these 5 aspects, space, air, fire, water, and earth, they said that we are the Devaha, and we are giving that sentiency to what? To the Indriyas. Basically, when we talk about Chakshuhu and Shotram, all 5 Jnanindriyas are coming into picture. We have seen this particular aspect in many other Upanishads, others also. Once 1 or 2 are given, it represents the entire set of that particular this one. And similarly, when he talked about talking, Vak represents the entire aspects of the Karmendriyas. The 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Jnanendriyas, and typically Manaha. Manaha can be 4-fold, but let us accept as a mind associated with that. All of them, they are telling that these are the aspects which are there, and we are the ones who is providing and supporting the sentiency to these Indriyas. And they are telling that we are doing this. Who? The 5 elements are actually telling this. So story here started like that. So Rishi is answering one by one. Normally they say, he replied, these devas are really the ether, air, fire, water, earth, speech, mind, eye, and ear. They manifest their glory, quarreled among themselves and said, we hold together and support this body. So they started quarreling him, because there is another question. Among them, who is Varishta? Who is the greatest among them? So it appears that he is giving a story form that they started fighting among them. Telling that Nayanam Pradhanam, so eye is telling and light is telling, or fire is telling, without me you cannot live. So this entire body is actually supported by me. All of them started quarreling among themselves. Yeah? That is what it talks about. Gurudev says that here, we may think that how come this thing is coming into the space, can we say that it is Deva? How is it possible? So Gurudev, what he is talking about is that when you go a little bit, do even a little bit analysis, you will see that if I am hearing a sound, the sound or an object is there, if I want to see, if it is completely dark, I cannot see any objects. Complete pitch darkness, if you are put, there may be thousands of these ones. People talk, that you can die of thirst among so many sources of water if everything is dark. Person may not know it is there. And a person can die because of that. So the idea is that without light, my eyes won't function. The eye cannot see associated with that. So light, representatively the fire, becomes the devata for my chakshu. My seeing aspect, the light becomes a devata. Similarly, for the sound aspect which is there, without space, the propagation of sound will not take place. So drik means direction. Direction represents the space. That becomes the devata for my sound or the hearing aspect which is there. So that is why what they say, this 5 elements that are there becomes devatas. For what? My indriyas. Why indriyas? Because if you are defining there is a sentiency associated with you, how is that sentiency how is that expressed in this particular world? Is through your senses. If suppose my eyes are not there, touch is not there, nothing is, no sense is there, sentiency is maybe known to you, but really speaking, nobody else can recognize that also, that it is there inside. So the entire sentiency, because light that you're talking about and devas that you're talking about, he is talking about that these 5 elements are the devas for the entire senses to work. How he's building up that particular story is telling. So Gurudev says that you may think that it is not directly related, but senses are the devas as far as the body and its expression and its life is concerned. It is 5 elements that are doing that. So if you say light to the eye, for example, smell is there, which is there for this one, then earth becomes for the smell aspect, gandha. So in our dispense, the sequence is normally space, air, fire, water, and earth. So in that particular thing, space is linked to the sound, air is linked to the touch, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. The sequence is like that: space, air, fire, water, earth, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. Shabda is sound, sparsha is air, rupa is linked to the fire, and rasa is taste. The tongue is there where the taste actually comes, but if tongue becomes completely dry, you put whatever in that, there is no taste associated. Taste is always linked to the saliva. So it should be wet, then only the taste is known. So water is linked to the taste and earth is linked to the gandha, smell. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha becomes the 5 aspects that are creating this aspect of life for you. Without these sense objects and sensations, life is not there. So he says that we are the ones. But again, they started quarreling. But again, when we talk about a particular, these 3, as I mentioned, individually they are working, but there is a mana very important to bring them together. Unless you bring all these sensations together, the totality of the experience is not known to anybody. So there is a manaha associated, which is bringing in and putting all these aspects together. That's what is telling. So when they started fighting with each other in that particular sense, now Rishi Pipalada moves to the next 3rd verse. Tan varishtaha prana uvacha ma moham apadyataham apadyataham evaitat panchadha atmanam pravibhajyai tad. So pravibhajyai tad banam vashtabhyah vidharayamati te shraddhadhana babhubuhu te shraddhadhana babhuhu. So now, when these powers are fighting among themselves, he says one prana came into picture. And that prana, tan varishtaha, means to them, the supreme prana. So now already Rishi is telling that none of them are really the varishta. There is something called prana that becomes varishta. Tan varishta prana means that supreme prana, the vital energy aspect is there. It said uvacha. It said, what it said? Ma moham. So do not be under any delusion. Ma moham, that you are the ones who are supporting this particular aspect, self-delusion. Apadhyaya. Apadhyaya, fall into. So don't fall into this false delusion that you are the Varishta aspects that are there. You are not the one. Aham, I. Verily, etat, this panchada. I myself, I split myself into 5 aspects of this panchadha and atmanam. So I am splitting myself into 5 aspects that are there in this art, and you may feel each of them as Atma. Atma means actually self. Wherever the I sense is there, it becomes a self. It becomes an Atma. So actually we say everything is Atma. For us, Atma word can be used for anything. If I use my eyes, for example, then I become a seer. I am putting myself into a concept of I am defined myself as a seer, hearer, taster. So first suppose somebody has got a very fine taste associated, people will get jobs also. In certain industries, you go and you become a taster in that industry, wine taster, for example. It's a job by itself. So because he has got that particular capacity of tasting and telling what is there, it becomes. So I become a taster. So how I am defining? In terms of taste, I am defining myself as Atma. So he's a taster Atma, a hearer Atma, like that. Everything can be Atma associated with that. I Atma, I am splitting myself into 5 Atmas, so to say. Banam. Banam, I told already, is the body. And avashtabhyaha, I am the one who is holding them together. Avashtabhyaha is a very important aspect which is being told. Individually, you may be supporting, but I am the one who is holding all of you together. And without me, you cannot function. That is what prana is trying to say. And vidharayami, I am supporting. I'm not only holding all together, I am supporting individually each one of you. And they ashraddhana, they didn't believe. And babu, they became. So when somebody comes and says, I am the leader, I am the one who is there, other 5 elements which were there, who is fighting among themselves, they didn't believe it. They said, oh, he is just talking about his own greatness. We don't believe you, kind of a thing, which normally you see in the world also. When somebody says that I am the leader, others will automatically try to pull you down to the extent possible. So they started telling that I will not, we won't believe you. It is not how we are seeing you as a leader, as a greatest power of all. We don't believe. The prana is something which is, how to put it? It is in the background. Really speaking, experientially, if you say what is prana, very difficult for us to define prana. We define prana in terms of our experience with the body. We define prana with the experience with the mind. So when prana says I am doing it in 5-fold, so 5-fold pranas can be at a subtle level, at a physical level. At a physical level, the 5-fold pranas, we have gone through this in Tattva Bodha and other texts also associated with that. They are called prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana. So these 5 pranas that are there, physiological functions they manage. So samana is one which actually prana, whatever you are taking in, whether it is air or whether it is food, it actually gives that particular thing to, it spreads across to all the parts of the body. So samana prana. Apana prana is something which actually is used for excretion. So throwing out. So sweat can be apana. Regular apanas, we know already, malamutra visarjana, which is there. Those things are anyway apana vayu, which is taking care of all excretions. Prana is the breath that comes in and provides you with the real vitality associated to your body. Suppose somebody has fallen unconscious, immediately put finger to check whether still prana is there or gone. So that is called prana. Prana itself is called prana because it's most important one in terms of keeping the body alive. Yeah? So that becomes prana. Udana vayu is more in terms of circulation associated with various, including this ones, and digestion aspects which are there. So Samana and Udana take care of these two aspects. They digest, they put across, and they distribute it to the entire this one. Udana prana is Udana, the very name of Udana means upward going. Apana is normally taken as downward going. So wherever it comes from, excretion, ultimately gravity will take care. But Udana is something which is all upward forces are controlled by Udana. Most important upward movement for all jivas is at the time of death, your jiva will be thrown out of the body, is Udana Vayu takes care of that, they say. But there are other aspects to Udana. For example, you get a hiccup. The hiccups is nothing but a upward movement of prana. So Udana takes care of that also. But most important, they talk about Udana prana is at the end of, and that Udana prana remains with that prana till that prana jiva takes the next birth. So Udana prana has got a very important concept associated. Different. At a mental level, the same prana, these are called vayus, these are called winds. Whereas in terms of mental level, these are called fires. And these 5 fires take care of the 5 senses associated with the, so same prana supports by division of 5 at a subtle level, at a gross level. That is how the normally this prana is telling that I am the one who takes care by splitting myself into 5 Atma. So Atma means actually it's nothing but a associated I-ness with the many of the powers that are there with the respect to Indriyas. So we will see what prana does in the next class. I think it's already 11:30. We should close here.
Very quick question. As you elaborate in various entities and their limitations, etc. And as you're aware, in this particular case, significant limiting logic is here, so things don't comprehend very well at that logical level. In this particular Upanishad, it appears as if this illusion is being elaborated upon, and other Upanishads or whatever, Prashnopanishad Gita are supposed to be discarded. This is how it appears because even the first shloka of Prashnopanishad Gita is in
Question is, see, there are some Gita, Gita is always a smriti, not a shruti. In the sense that somebody has absorbed the aspects that are given in the shruti and they have put across a Gita, a song for you to understand the same concepts associated with that. And when it comes to shruti, there are 2. One is called Mantropanishad, other is called Brahmanopanishad. Mantropanishad will have what you are telling. It doesn't talk about variations. It doesn't talk about differences. It doesn't do much into this. Whereas Brahmanopanishad explains those Mantropanishad. So when explaining certain things to a student associated with that, Guru will always climb down to the level of the student and says that your experience is this. So I am now telling you your experience, and I will now take you out of this experience to say that you are experiencing this, but I am not this, I am slightly above. So at a very detailed level, he comes to the level of the student. So when first question answer is given, a different approach is taken by the Rishi. When the second student is asking, knowing the student and his level, Rishi will come down and answer in this Brahmanopanishads. So you will see divisions here. So because your experience is division, I have to take you out of to say that your experience is this, but you are not this. I don't know whether I answered.
It's directed towards, was it for?
It will come. It will come in the 6th question when he answers, Rishi. Each level, what we see is, first question was totally linked to a person who is all absorbed in Annamaya Kosha. Now he is coming to Pranamaya Kosha. This student is fully aware that I am not fully body. There are certain aspects to my prana. He is giving more associated prana, not the same prana is defined in this, but Pranamaya Kosha. And this Pranamaya Kosha is all linked to my Indriyas and all. So to that particular student, Rishi is answering at a pranamaya kosha level.
So we're going to go through all the koshas and so on. But
He doesn't directly say kosha, but generally he will be at that level answering that.
and after the 5 or 2 people stop there, he will not go into them and say,
He does
"Oh,
that.
this is technical."
He does that. 6th question will answer you, take you out of everything and say that none of them is this, you are that Brahman. It will come. Ultimately, every Upanishad will give that message. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you.